All right. I did it. I did it. I could have did a better job of 100%ing this, but I'll take my L and go with a 98%. It's good enough. But yeah. Time Master conquered. Woohoo. Came at the end of the game. Didn't feel like the end. Well, you just spent the entire game trying to free her, and I guess they had the whole body thing at the end too. So there's that. Yeah. I guess my overall thoughts on this game is, I had fun. I think the puzzles in this game were a ton of fun, and I had a lot of fun playing it. I already had experience, playing it before, so I had an idea of where it was going and stuff like that, and so that might have made some puzzles a little bit easier than others. But I think this is a good puzzle game. I will say my main criticism of this game is I feel like some solutions required tactics that aren't necessarily tactics, at least from my perspective. They aren't necessarily tactics that one would gravitate towards as a solution. Mostly because I don't think prior puzzles, at least the way that I solve them, established that those solutions were a thing. What I think typically separates a good puzzle game from a great puzzle game is, and obviously there's different approaches, yada yada, this is just my opinion. I think great puzzle games say, here's how you can solve this simple puzzle, and then the next puzzle is, okay, using that same technique, here's that same solution style ramped up a little bit, and then after that, here's a very difficult one. And I think this game just has a lot of really good puzzles, but some of them, like the way you go through them, I feel like I thought about the solutions in a very linear way, and there are just some offshoots that require you to think completely differently than how I've been conditioned, or I've conditioned myself to go through them. And so I would have really appreciated maybe not necessarily earlier puzzles that require you to do that, but maybe a little bit of dialogue or something like that, where it just says, hey, maybe I can stand on top of this box, and the ghost can move this box. Or what was the other crazy one that I did? There's a puzzle that I solved that I had no business solving because I basically just broke it, but stuff and stuff with the stuff and stuff. But yeah, I guess I would have liked a progression of puzzles that established something that needed to be done and then took that further. For example, you have the switches. Start off with a red switch or whatever color switch you want, and you get taught okay, this is how I do this. Maybe you have a simple box pushing puzzle where you gotta push the box, and then the next one, maybe then you gotta stand on top of the box while it's being pushed, and it just leads you in the direction of this is how I gotta do it. And it would also help as well in establishing a little narrative for the puzzles and how they're sequenced, where you already know how to solve them. It's just figuring out all the other little details. But again, that's probably just a me preference thing. The way that the puzzles are handled in this game are, it's not a negative thing by any means. I guess it's just my own preference. The only other thing that I have is I really do wish there was an in-game hint system. I think games don't do this enough, especially puzzle games. Some puzzles out there are just really difficult. It's like, how am I supposed to solve this? And sometimes when that happens, people, they either quit the game or they're forced to go look it up or something like that. And I'm not even sure if there has ever been a puzzle game that I've played that had a hint system in it. I really feel like it should have one. You can, well, I guess Professor Layton has them. And speaking of Professor Layton, I think a hint coin system similar to Professor Layton would be a nice way to go about it. Maybe you don't have to spend currency or whatever, but if you go into the hint menu, you have 3 different hints. First one is a simple one. Second one is like, all right, we're going to nudge you a little bit. And the last one is like, all right, this is what you got to do for the most part. And, you can figure out the rest. For me personally, I think going to a Discord is a negative. I know it's so much simpler to do that, but I know this is gonna be crazy to say. I'd rather watch a YouTube video of somebody solving it, I guess. I'm not really big on the Discord link thing, but to each their own. It's not a huge deal. And I managed to solve the vast majority of them without hints. In fact, I think I only needed hints for 1. And T60, I tried looking up hints, and that was very unsuccessful. So, yeah. I think that's all of my thoughts on Time Master. I guess, just to reiterate them, I thought this was a great puzzle game. I liked pretty much all of the puzzles. And I managed to solve all of the puzzles. Maybe not in the way that I would have liked, but, them's the ropes. So yeah, that's going to be the end of my thoughts on Time Master. Yeah.